Welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Coleman. This is my full-time show, my match reaction of Fulham's 3-1 loss to Aston Villa at Villa Park. A very disappointing loss for Fulham as they dominated the play in the first half. Should have been up by more, gave up a goal at the near the end of the first half. A terrible mistake. You can give credit to Ollie Watkins, but that was on Fulham and Fulham go down 3-1. And honestly, it what did not have to be this way. After a good first half, I would say a positive first half, but things definitely changed in the second half. You got to give Aston Villa credit for that. They scored the 2 goals at the beginning of the second half and put the match away, seal it. It's done and dusted early on in the second half. That's how quickly things changed. I saw this happen, I want to say, at Molineux a couple seasons ago against Wolves. If you come out like that and a team is coming out looking to make a mark early on and you are poor defensively, you make errors, you're going to get punished. Fulham got punished. Credit to Aston Villa, but poor Fulham defending, poor decisions from the manager. A lot to talk about in probably about 15 minutes. I'm obviously very disappointed by the result here. We will have a post-match show, which I will be sharing probably on Monday. We'll go into more detail. This is just an initial reaction show where I just let it all hang out, talk for a few minutes. And this episode is actually going to be exclusive on the Cottage Talk Patreon page if you want to listen to the podcast version of this initial reaction. I'm broadcasting live on YouTube, so you can live stream it with me and feel free to share your thoughts on this. And I'll try to get to them during this episode, but the podcast version is exclusive on the Cottage Talk Patreon page. Okay, so let's just get to it. Let's get to my first half analysis. And Fulham started out strong, got a corner, and got a goal off of a corner from Raul Jimenez, and everything was looking good. They came out positive. And as we're watching the first half, we're noticing right after the goal that Jimenez is not looking right. And then he goes down and he gets taken off. And a lot changes after that. Raul Jimenez coming off affected the match for Fulham. Adama Traore comes on and obviously not really a striker. Looked a little lost throughout the match. I got to be honest with you. Obviously trying hard, but when you're taking off a striker and you're bringing on a winger to play a striker, it's going to affect you. It certainly did throughout the match. Bad luck for Fulham, but again, I go back to the decisions by the manager with that starting 11. I'm looking at the starting 11, and I don't see a recognized striker on that bench. All I see is Raul starting. We're hearing Rodrigo Muniz is out with a leg injury. Hopefully it's not going to be too long, but if it is, this is going to be an issue for Fulham as they are playing quickly on Friday, because now you're dealing with Raul Jimenez situation. Fulham brought in a young Swedish striker on loan from Bayern Munich. Why is he not on the bench? Can someone explain to me why Marco did not include him on the bench when you have this situation and you decide your backup plan is Adama Traore and your backup plan didn't work? Absolutely didn't work. Like I said, fair play to Adama for working hard, but Marco's plan did not work. And it affected the rest of the match. Sometimes things happen, like you said, injuries happen, but you have to have a plan for it. And his plan was Adama Traore. Failure. Didn't work. But I will tell you the major positive to come out of this first half, and I'll say this right off the bat. Josh King was Fulham's best player. I'll tell you right now, man of the match. I'll get into when we talk about decisions by the manager, taking him off. I still don't understand it. He was your best player. He was your most dominant player. And he comes off with Fulham down 3-1. Do not agree with that decision whatsoever. But I do want to talk about Josh King. So, firstly, we have to talk about the first penalty shout when he goes into Martinez. And I got to be honest with you, this is a dive. I'm against diving. He's going down. This is the right call. It is a yellow card. People might disagree with me. Josh King deserves a yellow card. He should not be doing this. Do not go down the Clint Dempsey route. This is what Clint did all the time. You're better than this. Josh King is going to be a great player. He doesn't need to do this. I know he's thinking about the team. This isn't selfish. He's just trying to help the team. But hopefully he learns from this because this is his second yellow card for simulation. So he doesn't need to do this. But I believe that his intention is positive. He's doing it for the team. This is not for himself. This is to help the team win. But overall, he was fantastic in this first half. Fulham's most dominant player, absolutely. And honestly, shortly after that, he creates an opportunity and it goes off Matt Cash's arm in a very weird manner, and it stops a goal from happening, and they do not give a penalty for this. It goes to VAR. They don't give it a penalty. I don't understand this because it stopped a potential goal. And the argument that I was given on the NBC broadcast I watched is that his arm was in a natural position, but it stopped the goal from happening. So I don't get that. I honestly don't get it. I disagree with that decision, but that's not the reason why Fulham lost the match. It's not. When you're on top, when you're up 1-0, you have to get that second goal. You have to get that third goal. And they didn't. And the longer the half went on, I'm thinking they're going to get the equalizer because I got to tell you, Aston Villa were second best in that first half. Fulham were by far the better team in the first half. That's what makes this result so infuriating is that they were the better team in the first half. But there are 90 minutes of football, and overall, Fulham were not the better side because the second half was very poor, and mistakes defensively cost them. And here you go. I've been given the praise of both Massey and especially Anderson. Ollie Watkins splits them and basically goes right over the top of the goalkeeper and equalizes it and makes it 1-1. And I had a bad feeling going into half because I had a feeling that Unai Emery would change the game. And he certainly did. He made a substitute to begin the second half. And I thought that helped them bringing on the player he brought on. But overall, what Fulham did here and what they didn't do was just very disappointing. And I keep going back to this. You know, when I overall look at the loss, it's defensive errors and Marco Silva lost the coaching battle big time. Like I said, Emery makes a substitute at the second half to change things up. It works because Harvey Elliott wasn't playing well for them. So the goals scored, Buendia, he actually is the substitute at the beginning of the second half. Does Marco Silva make any substitutions at the beginning of the second half? No. He makes substitutions later on in the second half. And oh, by the way, he takes off his best player. Explain this to me. You take off your best player like for like with Smith Rowe, and I'm thinking, you're down 3-1. Why don't you change things up? But Marco doesn't. Marco sticks with his plan, with his system. You're down 3-1, and you take off your best player. Sorry, Marco might be a genius, but he wasn't a genius against Aston Villa. And as you can tell, I'm very upset by that because when I transition and talk about the second half. So let's go to my reaction to the second half. Like I said, I've seen this too many times from Fulham Football Club. The beginning of the second half, Fulham tend to come out slow. And Aston Villa, feeling probably really good at half, getting that goal, came out blazing. And they scored these two goals in successive minutes. It was crazy that they scored them that quickly. They might have even scored another goal. They were pushing. They were the aggressor. and they were forcing Fulham mistakes. And that's the part that really angers me. All three goals, in my opinion, are preventable goals. And I talked about that a lot with Tony Gold last season. Preventable goals. That's a big part of the reason why Fulham lost this match. Preventable goals. And it's very upsetting to finish and watch this match the way it played out, because I saw how good they played in the first half. Then I'm thinking, we're on to something here. But it's Fulham. And to use the name of another podcast, Fulhamish, it was very Fulhamish to play well in the first half, but give up a late goal in the first half and then basically give up 2 goals in the beginning of the second half, and the match is over. How many times have I seen this movie? I've seen it way too many times, and it's very disappointing. And like I said, for me, those 2 goals, match is over. What we watched after that, did it really matter at that point? Did you really feel that Fulham were going to get back in the match? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I knew the match was really over when Marco Silva took off Josh King. And I'm going to say it one more time. Why did Marco take off Josh King? He has a plan and he sticks to it. I'm sure it was a plan before the match began. But you know what? You're down 3-1 and you're taking this kid off, who I think is limitless what he's going to do. Limitless. Your best player right now. You're not just your man of the match, your player of the season right now is Josh King so far. He's been that good, and you take him off. He was the only player on that pitch for Fulham that looked dynamic, and you take off your dynamic player. Totally disagree with that decision. Like I said, for me, this is about the defensive errors, the decisions by Marco Silva, and not taking your opportunities in the first half. All of these just add up to a Fulham loss, and it's just so disappointing. I'm very disappointed by this. But I want to thank everyone that is watching live. Like I said, I wanted to do a quick show right afterwards because I don't hide from a loss. I come right on. And I just let it all hang out. I've got a lot of comments. And let's see. So let's see what we got from Gary Cooper. Embarrassing defending. It was down to defending. Gary, I agree with you with that. Brought us back to last season. I thought they fixed it, but of course it's Fulham. And then, as you said, Fulham of old, and it showed itself. Chris, I believe that VAR screwed over Fulham again, but that's not why they lost. But I will mention it. Absolutely will mention that because Fulham deserved a penalty. They absolutely did. Let's see. Ref was watching a different game as usual. I like that comment. Let's see this from Paul. He says, how on the planet was that a yellow for Josh King? So I will just say this. There is an argument, and I heard it at halftime from one of the commentators. And he said that basically he didn't deserve a yellow card, but it's simulation. And again, Paul, I'm a big proponent against simulation, but this was a little bit different than the other one. I think he was trying to create something. That's what simulation is. But I think he was doing it to help the team. This wasn't about himself. It was about the team. So just want to mention that. Let's see. Lloyd says we have 0 press resistance. Let's see. Let's see. Steve Reynolds says both Sky Pros said it was a pen. I agree with them. I don't know why the broadcast I watched said it wasn't. I mean, they were adamant that it was. They agreed with the decisions by the referee and VAR. And I'm like, I don't know what match you're watching. Let's see. Steve Reynolds says, Silva at fault for the defeat. Adama as a striker. And why did you not have JKA on the bench? I've already talked about that. Wilson was poor and game cried out for Chikwueze and Kevin. I agreed with you on that. Let's see. King was on a yellow and had committed 2 fouls after receiving the yellow card. ESR can get a goal and is more of a goal threat. And our top scorer, King, can't score yet. Well, Christian, I get the yellow card. I understand that. But you're down 3-1. At this point, does it really matter? Just play the kid and you live with what happens after that. I don't think he was going to get another yellow card, if that's what you're worried about. But in the end, Fulham do not do enough, and they get what they deserve. Let's see. Suhail says, 2 mistakes today changed everything. Totally agree with that. He follows that up by saying Anderson missed header and Traore again dribbling the ball into no man's land and losing it. Let's see. Just not good enough. Let's see. Luke says King and ESR had no impact at all. Unfortunately, I would agree with that. But my only comeback to that is that the match was over at that point. It was over. It was too late. And but yes, you're right. ESR and Kevin had absolutely no impact whatsoever. That's unfortunate. And this is an unfortunate loss. It really is. But it's a movie I've seen before as I started this. I remember this Wolves match a couple seasons ago, reminds me of that. And what drives me crazy, what makes me insane, is that all the praise now that Aston Villa are getting over this, whereas they were not good at all in the first half. In fact, they were poor in the first half. But a mistake from Fulham changes it all. As Suhail said, a couple mistakes changed it all. And I'll go into more detail on our post-match show and more match reaction, but I wanted to do a quick show. And like I said, if you want to listen to the podcast version, it's just going to be on the Patreon page. But this will stay live on YouTube as a live stream. Actually, you can listen to it back. There's a Goldman, but it will be on YouTube if you want to watch it back. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk.